Hello there. Welcome. I didn't see you. Wait. What? What are you doing? Can't you see I'm in the bath? You pervert. What is the deal with you breaking into my luxurious bathtub while I'm taking a luxurious bath in my Christmas-themed clothing? You came for my movies of the year opinion? But my last one flopped. It did so badly. It's probably because I was making fun of the or something. Well, I guess I have to make sure this video is extra not political at all. Anyways, let's get into it. The movies of the year! Guys, I have to be really honest with you all. I have been kind of like lying in my past videos. Like a lot of the movies that I claimed to have watched, I didn't actually watch a lot of them because they were kind of like these boring Hollywood movies that I just don't give a shit about. But, you know, this year I decided to be honest and tell you my genuine opinion. So I watched 31 movies this year, and there were some other movies that I watched that I didn't watch them, but, you know, I was planning on watching them, but, you know, I just didn't get to it. But if I happen to watch them before this video airs, I'll edit in like my opinions on those movies. Okay, we good. All right, let's get to it.
About to taste my Morbius.
This movie was soulless. It was empty. It was a drag, and it was boring. It was such a bore to watch. This is a movie that I would have to be paid to rewatch. It was that boring. I get Jared Leto really wants an Oscar for a superhero movie. I get that he's really jealous of Heath Ledger and he didn't get his Oscar for Joker. So, you know, he's now trying to get an Oscar by playing Morbius. But my god, he sucks in this movie. The only like entertaining part of this movie would be Matt Smith's performance, and like he's not even good. He's just funny. He is hysterically funny in this movie. That dance sequence.
Have sex, accept. Put my hands against, put my best against, put my 10.
Oh my god. You would think that Sony has learned their lessons of not adding silly dance sequences in their movies. They even made fun of it in Into the Spider-Verse. They were like, remember when we did this? Yeah, we've learned. We're not doing this anymore. But then they do it again! Morbius gets a 3 out of 10. It was horrible.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
If Morbius was suffering from bad writing and just being absolutely dull movie, Jurassic World Dominion is just the most lazy, horribly written, corporate cash grab snore fest you could possibly get into. Not a single actor gives a shit in this movie. Chris Pratt has completely tuned out. He does not give a shit. The redhead woman does not give a shit. None of the extras give a flying fuck. Nobody gives a flying shit in this movie. The writers don't give a shit. The director doesn't give a shit. The story of these movies, just fuck it. What is the story of the Jurassic World movies at this point? This movie is more interested in lotus bugs than fucking the dinosaurs. And the dinosaurs that they are showing in this movie, they're showing dinosaurs that don't even fucking exist. Like dinosaurs that never existed. Just like, they're just doing bullshit dinosaurs. And what was up with the director saying like the villain dinosaur of this movie is like the Joker of dinosaurs? Like what does that even mean? And what is he talking about? That dinosaur just showed up and there was an action sequence and then it was gone. What a joker, I guess. Jurassic World Dominion gets a 3 out of 10. dreadful movie.
Try anything and you're canceled, bro.
This movie, why? Why? I get that Halloween was like a success, the 2018 one. I get that made money, and I guess that gave Hollywood a bit of a hope of like, maybe we can also remake old school horror movies. Like, they tried this back in like 2010 with Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th in like 2013 or something, with Michael Bay's producing it. It was not good. So they tried it with Halloween, and again, I'm not a fan of like the 2018 Halloween movie. I thought it was just kind of mid, just like okay. At least it's, you know, it's not horrible. It's just mid. But then they kept on making more, and they just kept getting horrible. So Netflix, wasn't it? Just thought, yeah, let's make a Texas Chainsaw movie. This movie is so bad. It is so cringy. It is so horribly written. It is so laughable. The two main characters, oh my god, they're so annoying. That dumbass bus sequence where the guy pulled up his phone, started live streaming, was like, try anything, bro. Try anything. You're canceled, bro. That was so like, no. Texas Chainsaw Massacre gets a 3 out of 10. Apparently, a lot of people liked this movie and thought it was scary. I thought it was a laughable, cringy, lame, just another Blumhouse horror movie. Jump scares every 2 minutes. Wow, weren't you scared? Aren't you scared when something jumps at you for the 100 billionth time? Oh boy, I'm scared. I found the premise kind of interesting at first, like the first like 15 minutes or so, like the opening. I thought like, oh, okay, this could be kind of interesting. It's kind of like it follows, but then it just turns into the most mundane, generic horror movie you could possibly be. Why did people give this movie a good grade? This movie gets a 3 out of 10. It was horrible. My god. I remember when the first one came out and I was kind of excited. I was like, yay, more Harry Potter movies. But now I'm like, oh, thank God it's not. Oh, thank God they canceled it. Oh, Lord. Please don't make more. Holy shit. 4 out of 10. It was horrible. It was just boring. Never have I seen, out of all the like Disney remakes that they've made, you know, they're all soulless, they're all just cash grabs, but my god, Pinocchio has to be probably the biggest no fucks given cash grab soulless bullshit that I've ever seen. This movie is so bad. It gets a 4 out of 10.
Oh, I know. Kazam, you know the one where Shaq plays a genie?
That's not a horror movie.
Well, you haven't seen Shaq act.
Again, just another generic reboot of a classic horror franchise, and it does absolutely nothing. You know, it's been like 10 years since we got a Scream movie, and they're planning more, by the way. They're planning fucking more. Why? Scream gets a 4 out of 10.
Huh. Hey, you know, something like that happened to me once.
The fact that this movie was nominated for Best Adaptation at the Game Awards just insulted me on so many levels. Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg's Uncharted is good enough to be nominated for Best Adaptation, then I don't want to know what a bad adaptation is. Tom Holland is just playing Peter Parker. Here's the thing. I think Tom Holland is a decent actor. I've seen him in movies where he is genuinely being a decent actor. Like that one movie, what was it called? It was called Devil All the Time or something. Or like Devil in Me. Or like it was called like Devil like something. And he's playing this kind of like country guy. And he was genuinely kind of good in that movie. But he keeps getting roles for these like blockbusters. And these directors and these producers just tell him, just be Spider-Man. Yeah, just be Peter Parker. Just what you did for Peter Parker, just do that for Nathan Drake. Because Peter Parker and Nathan Drake are the same fucking characters, apparently. Even Tom Holland like went on Twitter months before the movie came out and was saying like how he was ashamed of his performance in this movie. Mark Wahlberg is not playing a character. Mark Wahlberg just walked onto set, said his lines and said, well, see you guys. Oh, that's my paycheck? Thank you. He is not playing a character. He's just playing himself, like he does in all movies. Jesus fucking Christ. Uncharted gets a 4 out of 10.
An 18-wheeler spins out of control, and it's all like, brush! In this huge tanker full of diamonds. Crawl! Crawl! Those aren't ideas. Those are special effects.
You know, this actually isn't, you know, his worst movie. You know, Michael Bay has done far worse movies, but Ambulance, I just found it kind of boring and dull. It was just a dull, boring action flick. Maybe, you know, maybe giving it the 4 is a bit harsh. The reason I'm giving it such a low grading is because, you know, it's Michael Bay and I hate him.
Art is dead.
What is happening with Pixar? Like, what is happening with this? Do you remember when Pixar gave out a movie and every single movie of theirs looked unique, it felt unique, and it was just a completely, like, every movie was something different. It had its own identity. Now all of these movies just look the fucking same to me. They all look the same. And without a doubt, Lightyear is without a doubt the most soulless, empty, nothing flick that Pixar has produced in a long fucking time. I cannot remember a single line or single scene or anything from this movie, and I am known to have really good memory when it comes to movies. 4 out of 10.
Said our art is dead.
It's a fucking Minion movie. Like, I went into this expecting shit, and yeah, it was shit. It was Margot Robbie, Christian Bale, and John David Washington. Yeah, they were like the main cast, and then you also had Anya Taylor-Joy and Taylor Swift and Rami Malek, Robert De Niro. There's so much going on here, but why? Why is this the most mediocre, generic snore fest that I've ever fucking watched? This movie is so boring. It's misery to watch this movie. It was without a doubt the most boring film I watched all year. I would much rather watch Morbius all over again than watch Amsterdam.
Well, sounds to me like we got a bit of a... What do you want me to watch? Smart ass.
The Contractor, it's an action flick with Chris Pine, the guy who was in like Wonder Woman. It's just a generic action flick, nothing special. That's why I gave it the 5 out of 10.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered.
Another Mark Wahlberg movie, but you know, at least he's trying to play a character in this movie. Yeah, he's trying. He's still just Mark Wahlberg, but at least he's trying. This movie was just kind of mid. It's just about a priest. It's based on a real story. It's about a priest who has like a disease, and he's like, you know, slowly losing his motor functions and ends up in a wheelchair. And you know, Mark Wahlberg is playing it, like whatever. Now we're getting to the 6 out of 10s, the okay films.
Genie, Wishes, Lamb, none of that ringing a bell.
This is from director George Miller, the guy who did Happy Feet and Mad Max, the Mad Max films. And this is his first film since Mad Max, which came in 2015. This movie is interesting. Visually, it's pretty damn stunning. Plot-wise, it's interesting. Like, I liked the first half of the movie. I thought the first half was like, oh, that's pretty good. But then the second half came and it really, really sucked. The second half of this movie is so boring. So yeah, I had to put it in a 6 out of 10. It's still okay. It's nothing terrible. I would recommend it. Now we're here when we get to like the 6s. These are like movies that I like would recommend you to watch. Like, they're not bad. These are just like, oh, they're okay. I would recommend them. The Lost City with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum is also in it. Oh yeah, and Daniel Radcliffe was like the villain. I kind of liked Daniel Radcliffe in the movie as the villain. He was kind of funny. This is just a typical like rom-com, silly like Hollywood comedy. It's nothing. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just kind of it's okay. Like, if you like Hollywood rom-com movies, I think you would like it. It's not terrible. It has some good moments. But, you know, ultimately it's kind of just whatever. I saw it once. I have no intention of watching it again. But I still had fun watching it. 6 out of 10.
Nope.
Nope. This is the new Jordan Peele movie, and I've liked his work. I liked Get Out. That was really good. Us was the same. It was kind of it was okay. Us was okay. It wasn't as good as Get Out. Get Out was like an 8 out of 10. While Us and Nope was like a 6. I like the visual style that Jordan Peele has, and I like kind of the stories that he comes up. Like, I'll give him credit. He's one of those directors that does make like kind of original films and tries to be like unique and have like unique premise. I'll give him credit there. He does go that extra mile of making like original stories. But the main character was just kind of boring. His sister was far more interesting, and the movie was really slow at points, and yeah, ultimately it was just kind of like, okay.
That's wrong. I said, I have fish. I will bash you now. Get out of here, guys. Get out of here, guys.
This is another Pixar movie. And again, like I said, these Pixar movies are kind of just becoming like these whatever movies. Lightyear was bad. Like, Lightyear was bad. Turning Red wasn't bad. It was okay, but it was nothing special. Like, this is not a movie that I will like, oh, when I have kids, I'll show them this movie, because it was just whatever. The movie wants to be like a metaphor for like preteen girls' puberty and stuff like that, and they want to tackle like periods and stuff. Like, you just like stuff like that. And apparently a lot of Christian parents were really offended by that and didn't want their kids to see that. I guess. Oh no, the period blood. Oh no, puberty. Keep the children away. They can't know what puberty is. Oh no. What would Jesus do?
Nice guys finish last.
This is a DreamWorks movie, and again, just like Turning Red, I found it okay. The animation style was pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of Into the Spider-Verse. Kind of had that thing going. It looks kind of like the new Puss in Boot movie. Also has that kind of art style. It seems kind of like DreamWorks is kind of copy-pasting Sony's animation style now. And again, Bad Guys was nothing special. It was just decent. It was okay. Okay, now we're getting into the horror movies. Speak No Evil, and also we're also in the 7 out of 10 category now. Now we're like in the kind of like good stuff. Now we're in the good stuff. 7 out of 10. Yeah, Speak No Evil. This was, I think it was kind of like more of an indie film, or you know, it wasn't like a huge film. It's made, I think it's made by the studio that makes, you know, the artsy horror films. What's it called? A20 something. And this movie has a really cool premise, and what I really like about this one is that it's not a fucking Blumhouse movie where there are jump scare every 2 fucking minutes. Because in this movie, there are no fucking jump scares. This movie is slow. It slowly builds up tension. You start the movie and you don't even feel like you're watching a horror movie, but then the movie gets going and it gets going and stuff starts to happen, and it gets a little, ooh, okay, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. I'm feeling a little unsettled. I feel like I'm watching a horror movie. It's giving me the chills. When I watch a movie like Smile, I don't feel scared. I'm just waiting for that. I'm just waiting for those moments. I can see them coming. They're like, okay, here, all right, we're gonna get a jump scare here, okay? Okay, it's all quiet. There's no music. She's walking in the house, and here comes the fake out. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Silence. That is boring. It's so predictable. But with a movie like Speak No Evil, you have no idea where things are going, because it's building up to something, and you're like, fuck, what is it? What is it? What is gonna happen? And then it happens, and you're just left in utter shock. And that's good. But I will criticize this movie because the main characters are really fucking stupid. They make really fucking stupid decisions, and this is a idiot type plot. Like, the plot only happens because the main characters are idiots, and yeah, that's a flaw. So I can't really, if that was not a problem, I probably would give this an 8 out of 10, but because of that, it goes down to a 7. I also kind of like The Black Phone. I would say Speak No Evil is a better horror film, but because of its like dumb idiot plot. It kind of loses to Black Phone here because I thought the plot of the Black Phone was pretty tight. It also has this like tension, and you know there are like little jump scares here and there, and you know I'll let that slide because they're not that many. They're just like once and once, but for the most part it relies on like the tension and you know just the atmosphere of the situation that the main character finds himself into. And I really enjoyed it, and I really liked the villain. Like he was genuinely horrifying individual. So I saw Pearl first. I knew about X existence because a lot of people were talking about it, but I never saw it. But then I watched Pearl, and I really, really liked Pearl. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna give X a chance, and I really, really liked it. I love that in Pearl it has that like 40s kind of feel to it, like the cinematography and the look of the film. It kind of has that 40s kind of feel going. But then you go into X and it has that 70s, 80s horror, slasher horror feel. I really, really like that retro feel. And I'm really glad we're getting movies like this still to this day, because I am sick and tired of another generic haunting movie or like ghost movie. I'm so sick of it. Can we please get more cool slasher films? This is just a comedy movie. It's nothing special. I rated it a 7 out of 10, but I really enjoyed Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal's like chemistry. I really liked their like buddy duo, their like buddy dynamic. I really had fun with it. Like my favorite scene was where they took LSD and were like trying to come up with like a plot for a movie, and they were just tripping balls. I loved their little dynamic in that. It was great. But it's just a action comedy movie. It's nothing special, so 7 out of 10. Pretty good. Bullet Train. I really enjoyed Bullet Train. It was a fun action film. It also benefits Bullet Train that it has so much like anime thing in it. There's so much like anime. It feels anime, the movie. The characters feel like characters from like a manga or an anime. The set piece. This movie really reminded me of Bakano, the flying pussyfoot, where they're like all, you have these multiple characters who all have their own like motives and their own like thing going on, and they're all kind of like clashing with each other on like a speeding train, like in Bakano. I really enjoyed this like angle. I thought the actors were really fun in this movie. I thought the characters they were playing were really fun, and I just enjoyed the action. The movie, it was a fun action movie. It was a perfect like turn off your brain action film. I really enjoyed this movie because, you know, when it comes to these like Hollywood biopics, you know, they're all trying to win an Oscar-bait films. They want the director to win an Oscar, they want the actor, they want the movie. Everything has to win an Oscar because, you know, it's a biopic about an important singer or an actor or whatever. It's boring. They're boring. But this movie was amazing because this movie was just making fun of those movies, and it did it in that classic Weird Al Yankovic like parody style, and I fucking loved it, and Daniel Radcliffe was really good in this movie.
Danger, woohoo! Woodhouse again.
I was not expecting this movie to be good. I thought this was just gonna be another boring, generic sequel that comes like fucking 40 years later and was trying to be something special. But my God, it was pretty damn good. I would even say this movie was way better than the original. It's exciting, it's exhilarating, and the fact that the actors all went into a real like, you know, jet. They didn't pilot it, but they were in it for real, and that's fucking amazing.
Where's the lamb sauce? Where's the lamb sauce?
This movie also stars a great talent like Ralph Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy and that guy who played Beast in the X-Men movies. I went into the menu. I saw it in the cinema, completely blind. I had not seen any trailer. I had no idea what this movie was. I just went into it, and my God, it blew me away. It was such a surprise. I'm not gonna spoil anything about this. Go watch the menu. It's so good. 8 out of 10. Yeah, we're now in like the 8s out of 10s. We're now in the like the great films, like the great films of the year. I fucking love like noir films. I love the 40s aesthetic. I love all the guys wearing trench coats, and you know, they're wearing their like little gangster fedoras, and they're all in the mafias and stuff like that. I love that shit. I fucking love that stuff. The aesthetic of the film is great. I really loved how this movie felt like a stage play. The whole film takes place just in the tailor shop. I can't talk much about the plot. Trust me, the outfit, it's fucking amazing. Check it out.
Something's in my ass.
I wasn't sure how I felt about Robert Pattinson taking up the cape and being the Caped Crusader, but my god, he was fucking amazing. He was so good in this movie. And Paul Dano as the Riddler. Then again, I always thought, like, as soon as I heard Paul Dano was playing the Riddler, I thought about all like the movies that Paul Dano has been in. And like kind of the type of character he usually plays, I thought, yes, he will be amazing as the Riddler. Colin Farrell as the Penguin was just amazing. I've never seen it was Danny DeVito. We've never seen another like live action portrayal of the Penguin. And well, actually, yeah, Gotham. I actually like Gotham a bit. You know, it's a really different take on the Penguin, but I like it. But Colin Farrell, without a doubt, is the best like comic book representation of the Penguin. Andy Serkis was a pretty good Alfred. I hope we get to see more of him in like the sequels. Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon also surprised me. Because I'm kind of, you know, I'm a little biased. I'm a bit of a Gary Oldman purist. Like, Gary Oldman is my James Gordon. He is just my James Gordon. So I thought going in this movie, I was not gonna like Jeffrey Wright's take on Gordon, but he was pretty good. I'll admit, he was pretty good. He hasn't replaced Gary Oldman for me, but he's up there. He's definitely up there. The look of the movie is so good. The cinematography, Matt Reeves' cinematography, the way he shoots this film, my god, it's so good. The original score by the guy who like composes he composes a lot of the old Pixar movies. My god, the new Batman theme is fucking good. The Batman gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me, and it's my third favorite film of the year. Yeah, we're now in like the top 3. The Batman, and my number 2 favorite film of the year was...
Babe, please stop. You're not the Northman.
This is coming from the director who did The Lighthouse, which was also one of my favorite films in 2019, if I remember. He's a bit of a newcomer, but he's definitely climbing that ladder. The Northman is a Viking movie, so you know, it's right at home here. Me here, a native Nordic person. This movie was vicious. It was brutal, and I loved it. I loved how this movie tackled revenge plot, not like The Last of Us with its bullshit. I really liked how this movie just tackled the concept of revenge and how it just ruins everything. I'm giving Northman a 9 out of 10. We're now in the 9 out of 10 category. And my number 1 favorite movie of the year was...
I'm gonna put everything on a bagel.
This is coming from the guys who did the weird movie it's called Switch Army Man with Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano, where Daniel Radcliffe plays a farting corpse the entire movie. They love taking weird ass concepts and making amazing films out of them. And my god, this movie is amazing. It is shot so well. It is the actors, my god, they're so good. The story, the plot, the concept, the level, this feels like a Christopher Nolan film at points with how like insane the concept is. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is my favorite movie of the year. It gets a 9 out of 10. Alright, that's it for my movies of the year. I do also have, you know, there are a few movies here which I did not get to see yet. And I'm gonna add in my scores for them if I see them. It's a Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, Pinocchio by El Toro, The Whale, and a movie with an Icelandic title, but it's not Icelandic film. It's Taur. I want to see these movies. So if I see them before this video comes out, I will edit in the grade for them. Also, a little extra, I decided to check out the animes that I saw this year. I saw Demon Slayer. It was the Entertainment District arc. It was really good, amazingly animated. It gets an 8 out of 10. My Dress Up Darling. It's just a your typical rom-com anime about a guy, and here's this girl, and she wants to cosplay, and so he starts making her cosplays, and things are getting a little between them. It was pretty decent, 7 out of 10. Spy Family, I really enjoyed Spy Family. This is without a doubt one of the better animes to come out in a while. It gets an 8 out of 10. Kaguya-sama wrapped up with its 3rd season. I have been really enjoying the Kaguya series, and season 3 was without a doubt the peak. It was the best. It gets a 9 out of 10. A Couple of Cuckoos was okay. It's just a harem romantic comedy, and to be honest, if it wasn't for the purple hair girl, yes, I know, the purple hair girl, usually the one who loses, if it wasn't for her, this show would have been mid as fuck, because the sister character, I hated her, and the other girl, the Instagram model, I just did not enjoy her as a character. But I really enjoyed the main character and the purple-haired girl. Her name was Hero. I really enjoyed their dynamic. I really enjoyed their growth as characters throughout the series. It gets a 7 out of 10. Call of the Night. This is the most recent one that I've watched, and it surprised me. I went into this expecting what is this? Let's check it out. And then it started, and I was like, okay. First 4 episodes, okay. This is pretty good. But can it keep this momentum going? Is it gonna drop the ball? Because that's what usually happens. They start up pretty good, and then they just go down. But to my utter surprise, no, it did not. This show just kept on going. It kept on building the world. The world got more interesting. I'm not gonna spoil what the show is about, but I highly recommend it. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. The Devil is a Part-Timer, Season 2. This is the first season came out in 2013, and this sequel coming out 10 years later. Yeah, it was pretty good. Nothing great, but pretty good. And it's getting a 3rd season, so there's something to look forward to. A 7 out of 10. When it comes to my video games, I didn't really play a lot of video games. I feel like the gamer in me is just dying with time. I played Elden Ring. It was an 8 out of 10 for me. And God of War, it was also an 8 out of 10. I personally preferred Elden Ring over God of War, but I think those two were the best of the year. I also played Stray. I would give that one a 7 out of 10. I played Sifu. That one was an 8 out of 10 for me. And Ghostwire Tokyo, that was a 5. That was just kind of mid. Well, thank you for watching my movies and some shows and games of the year video. Well, everybody, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. And I'm gonna now dive into this water, so goodbye, everyone.